Did Cristiano Ronaldo hold back the Portuguese national team at the Euros? Is he no longer capable of contributing to the team at this level? And is it time to retire? These are difficult questions to ponder, but given the evidence that we have seen, they need to be asked. Is time finally catching up with one of the greatest football players of all time and arguably the greatest goal scorer ever? Let's discuss. Joining us today, we have Niladri Sarkar, the week's correspondent from West Bengal, and Rinald Job, who is a PhD scholar and freelance journalist based in Lisbon. Before we get on to the discussion, I just wanted to give a context about how it has come to this. Because in the last 2 years, a lot has been said about Ronaldo, but then I don't see too many people talking about how this started or how his decline really effectively started. So if you go back to the 2021-22 season, Ronaldo, playing for a really bad Manchester United team, had a really good season. He was the best striker in the Premier League that season, ahead of the likes of Harry Kane. And so he still looked like he could deliver at the biggest stages in the world. But then within a year, when the 2022 World Cup came along, he was possibly in the worst form of his career. So one thing that has many people have neglected to mention is how things went so wrong in just a year. So as we know, at the start of the 2022 season, he suffered a personal tragedy with him and his partner were expecting twins, but one of the kids died, and the other was in a hospital for months. So Ronaldo missed out on the entirety of preseason, and at that age, already in his late 30s, missing out on preseason can have a massive impact on your fitness and your sharpness going into the season. So Ronaldo joining the season late, and obviously there is the well-documented falling out with the United manager, leading to him leaving the club in December, just ahead of the World Cup. So at the World Cup, it was a very disappointing performance from Ronaldo, and obviously questions were asked whether it was time for him to stop playing. But then we have seen that after that, he has performed well for the Portuguese national team. Of course, his performances at club level have to be taken with a pinch of salt because they have come in Saudi Arabia, which is not the highest level of competition. But he has done well in Saudi Arabia. He has kept himself fit, and he has also notably performed really well for Portugal, scoring. Before the Euros, he had 12 goals in 11 games for the Portuguese national team. So ahead of the Euros, he was still Portugal's best number 9, primarily because Goncalo Ramos, who had done well at the World Cup, scored a hat-trick. He had had a bad season at PSG. So because of his bad season, Ronaldo still seemed like the best choice to go with. But as we all saw, it did not work out. And, it was possibly the worst performance of his tournament career, of any tournament he has ever competed in. So, Niladri, what do you think about Ronaldo's and Portugal's performance at the Euros? And do you think he held the team back?
Thank you very much, Karthik, for having me in this discussion. I personally think, yes, Ronaldo did hold back Portugal in this Euro, but so I have some data to back my point. You mentioned Ronaldo scored 12 goals before coming to the Euros, but those out of those 12 goals, the 10 goals he scored came against team ranked under 60th, and the other 2 goals came against Slovakia ranked 45th. Now coming to Euro. Ronaldo had, I think, second or third highest shots attempted by any striker, and he had the highest XG of above 3 without scoring. So, according to ESPN, I think that they are claiming that this is the worst XG to have for any football player in a men's major tournament since 1980. So, these are some stats that say that yes, Ronaldo did get his chances, and the kind of Ronaldo that we have all seen growing up, if he was at this level, he would have definitely scored more goals. And also, a Portugal team was built in a way to get the best out of Ronaldo. Because if you see Roberto Martinez, his style of play is known for patience build up, strikers coming down, linking up with midfielders. But this time we saw Portuguese wingers and midfielders flying their crosses towards the box. Who's that for? That was for Ronaldo. That was meant for Ronaldo, right? Portugal has made the highest number of crosses. That's almost 100. No other team has had more crosses. Has had 90 crosses. The second highest, if I'm not wrong, is Austria. That's under 70. So all these things say that the Portugal team was set up to get the best out of Ronaldo. Yet Ronaldo failed to accept those chances. And we all see like what happened against France. He missed a sitter, if I can say so. But all these things, yes, I do think Ronaldo held back Portugal. But then is Ronaldo alone to be blamed for these mistakes? I don't think that, because other than Ronaldo, there were other players also whom I think did not perform considerably well or as was expected from them. And I think we can come to those points as we go along this discussion.
So, Rinald, coming to you, what are the views in Portugal about do they feel that Ronaldo held the team back?
Hi, thank you for inviting me. No, the thing is, like in Portugal, at least in Lisbon, people didn't think that it was Ronaldo's fault. They, at least the Portuguese, think it was sheer bad luck for the loss against France, because they did expect their team to at least go to the final. And ironically, they didn't expect them to win the Euro 24, but at least they expected, because this was the best team since the golden ages. That was the one of the quotes said by one person, said that this was one of the best teams they had, but unfortunately it was bad luck, because of course they lost at the penalties. What they say is it's bad luck, since they couldn't win the, I mean, at least progress to the semifinals.
Yeah. So the point that Niladri made, very interesting point, was that Roberto Martinez's playing style, it is not usually this. So this time it seemed to have been tailored to suit Ronaldo. So what do they think, Renault in Lisbon, about other options? Like you could have played Goncalo Ramos, you could have played Liverpool's Jota. So do they feel like there's a chance missed there by not playing these players ahead of Ronaldo?
So the problem here is, I should, like, it's a long story, but then the problem here is the football here revolves around three entities. One is the Ronaldo brand. The second is the Portuguese Federation, the Portuguese Football Federation, and then the squad, and then of course the sponsors. So the problem is, Ronaldo cannot be avoided at any cost. I mean, Santos did that during the World Cup, and he benched him for two matches, and then at the also they when they got knocked out, that was a big reason, and for him to even lose his job. So the sponsors actually play a big role here, and also the coach. And when Roberto Martinez was actually installed as as a coach, he had only one job: to keep Ronaldo as a focal point. So removing Ronaldo well, I don't think it was even an option for him. But of course, people think that the young players like Ramos or Jean Felix. Ramos is actually a popular opinion, because from his past games, for example, against in Switzerland, he scored. He actually played really well, because that was the winning. And then against the Euro qualifying against Luxembourg, he scored. They won at 9-0. So and interestingly, in both the games, Ronaldo wasn't playing. So even without Ronaldo, the team is actually pretty strong. So he was a good option to replace Ronaldo. Replace in the sense, for his position. But then now the problem is, everything is focused on Ronaldo. But even the opposite team also knows this. So the problem is, you cannot, now it's not a possibility, because everything now revolves around him, and this is the limelight. Everything goes on to him, because he's the focal point now. And Roberto Martin made it sure that it becomes that way. Otherwise, at this age, making him play for more than 90 minutes, 120 minutes, it's kind of absurd. But then yeah, but this is the problem. So this is what people think, but the main problem is, he cannot be replaced at this point, because then everything, the momentum will be destroyed. So yeah, but I hope, now everybody hopes that in the coming games for the national team, he will be replaced, or at least made to play for like a few minutes in the starting stage, and then bench him or substitute him.
That's an interesting point, because this time it seemed like Martinez was almost not allowed to substitute Ronaldo. He started every match, he played till the end in every match, and more interestingly, he was taking all the free kicks. And we knew by the time he was about to take the free kick, we already knew that he was not going to score, because his free kick record at Euros is actually not that good. He used to be a great free kick taker, of course, back in the day, but then since an injury to one of his knees, he has not been as efficient from free kicks. But then he's taking free kicks from all sorts of awkward angles and really bad positions where you really should be passing, like Bernardo Silva or Bruno Fernandes should be trying to play a ball into the box, but Ronaldo is taking the shot on. Again, but that again, people can blame Ronaldo, but for me that comes down to the manager, because the manager should be telling him not to do that, but then it seems like Martinez cannot do that. So then what are the feelings about Martinez? Are people angry at Martinez then?
It's not a good opinion about, like, people don't hate him, but the thing is, people say that he's a good spokesperson for the team, but not a good coach. Interestingly, some people even mentioned Ruben Amorim from Sporting to
Lisbon, yeah.
come as the Portuguese team's coach. But then, of course, here in Portugal, the people are more into clubs than the national team, because people give their heart and soul to the club. But when it comes to the national team, people aren't so enthusiastic or like too ardent to watch their matches. I mean, of course, people do watch it, and then they have their opinions and they analyze the things. But it's more of the clubs. But so coming to it, so when there was an opinion about Ruben Amorim coming as the coach, the Sporting fans didn't like it much, because they still wanted him at Sporting. But yeah, like I said, Roberto Martinez is not a hated person, but of course, they don't still at least the fans don't prefer him to be in the team. Like, people like him. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad coach or anything, but people don't want him to stay in the coming national games, of course.
Yeah, Niladri, could you just comment on this point? Martinez, if he drops Ronaldo, he is going to face a lot of trouble. But then, or even if he substitutes him, there's going to be a lot of problems. But then, what could he have done? Could he have managed Ronaldo and the team better in this Euros?
Yes. So, seeing things from outside, it felt like Roberto Martinez was brought to bring an outside perspective, because he is not a Portuguese. He did not grow up with the football culture of Portugal, so he had a fresh perspective. He was not bound by that Ronaldo cult. I mean, that his predecessors felt. So in that sense, I think he failed. He should have managed Ronaldo better, given knowing that I mean, Ronaldo is not the earlier Ronaldo that we all have seen. But what Martinez did is, and I mean, to some extent, he also succeeded, because in the qualifiers or leading up to the major tournament, he did find some success by making Ronaldo the flag bearer of his team. He centered the entire Portugal team around him, and he did get success, as we have seen. Like, Ronaldo scored lots of goals, even though they were against lower ranked teams. But that's the thing. I mean, Portugal played those teams, and Ronaldo succeeded. So I think Martinez got the belief that he still had something in him to get the best out of Ronaldo, and he possibly came with that confidence in the Euros. And even in the first two games, if we see, Ronaldo wasn't bad. Like, he did not score goals,
Yeah.
but his movements and how he received balls, it was actually good. Right? He even set up Bruno Fernandes for the tapping. He could have easily gone for the goal. So we saw a different side of Ronaldo. So I think the first two matches, Portugal were good. People felt okay, even though Ronaldo is not scoring goals, but this Portugal team is looking good. But in the third match, I personally felt Ronaldo should have raced it. Martinez did not
Yeah.
do that. Why he did not do that? Possibly he wanted Ronaldo to score a goal, because we know if Ronaldo scores one goal, people thought Ronaldo might get into that zone where he would be scoring more. But instead, Ronaldo should have been rested, and he did not. Then we saw what happened in the round of 16. Portugal really struggled. So in that sense, yeah, Martinez, I think, can manage Ronaldo better. Maybe he could have dropped Ronaldo in the round of 16, and even in the game against Georgia, and he could have brought Ronaldo in later parts of the game. He could have done the
Yeah.
same thing against France, but he did not do so. That said, Martinez seems to be driven by the Ronaldo cult now. He cannot avoid Ronaldo. But the thing is, Martinez was, I personally feel from seeing things outside, that Martinez was brought to escape this Ronaldo cult, and he has failed to do that till now.
Yeah.
And also, if I
Would
am
like
Diogo Jota or I'm Gonzalo Ramos, I'm not happy, because I personally think Diogo Jota should have given the chances. Diogo Jota, for this season, even though he hasn't scored a lot of goals, but he has been kind of a super sub for Liverpool. So Diogo Jota perfectly fits that role, where Ronaldo is starting, you don't finish him, you don't play him for the entire game, you take him within around 60 or 70 minutes, then you bring Diogo Jota in if you are in search of a goal.
It's also very different because Jota is capable of running in behind, getting onto the through ball. Ronaldo can no longer do that.
Yes, yes. And Jota is also known for his link up play, and he also presses quite, or when off the ball, he is very good presser. So Diego Jota, I think, is more suited for Roberto Martinez's style of play, but we'll never know until Roberto Martinez plays him. So,
Yeah. Renault, you were saying something?
Yeah, no, I was saying that because when you said about Roberto Martinez escaping the cult, I don't think he would actually be able to, because of the sponsorship and the federation, because they didn't want him. They actually made him the coach for one reason, because they wanted him to become, because Ronaldo had to come to the team. So no matter, the only person who actually didn't do that was actually Fernando Santos, and he lost his job because like a slight mistake from him, Ronaldo, is actually going to cost the job of the coach. Not actually, Ronaldo won't be removed at any
Ronaldo.
case. So it was actually, even if Martinez wanted to, I don't think he would have able to. That is actually the truth.
Yeah, the concerning thing here for me is that Ronaldo also seems to be, I mean, no offense, but a little deluded because ahead of the Euros, he spoke about how this was the best season of his career. And obviously, Ronaldo fans are going to repeat that and trying to play this up. But it's actually an insult to Ronaldo to talk about his achievements in the Saudi League and compare that to what he did in Europe because there's a vast difference and there's a difference in the level of competition. So you cannot say like having scored 60 goals, 60 plus goals for Real Madrid, you cannot say that the 50 goals for Saudi Al Nassr was his best season. So he's saying things like that. He's still obviously very fit. Where, where he seems to have lost out a little bit is his reaction time and his reflexes, but he's still fit enough and the skill obviously will stay there. So that is a little bit concerning because it seems like Ronaldo believes that he is still a lot younger than he is. He still believes that he is the man. So he's not ready to take the back seat. Like Messi, we have already seen Messi's character. He is willing to, be rested. He's willing to encourage the younger players. But Ronaldo still seems like he wants the spotlight on him. So what is the future for Ronaldo?
So the future at this point, like as Renault rightly said, that Martinez cannot escape the Ronaldo cult, but then he can manage it better. I think. I mean, you don't need to play Ronaldo every minute of every game. You can rest him in unimportant matches, and when you see Ronaldo not performing up to the mark, you can always take him off. I think that for at least in the immediate future, that should be Martinez's option. And then going ahead till the World Cup, I don't know how. I mean, Ronaldo will of course be fit, but how game fit or internationally standard game fit he will be, that needs to be seen. That needs to be seen and analyzed by Roberto Martinez. So given that, for now, I think yeah, Ronaldo needs to be told that you cannot play every game, every minute of every game. That's one thing. And second thing also, Roberto Martinez has to stop analyze Ronaldo based on what he is doing in Saudi Arabia. I think that's not a good standard to set. Like you are not. I mean, Saudi Arabia is still what I think 27th, 28th in terms of coefficient of club leagues. Domestic leagues around the world. So if someone is scoring even 50, 60 goals there, it it may not necessarily translate into success in Euro or World Cup. That has to also be taken care of because this Portugal team deserves a trophy. This, I think, is the best Portugal team that we have seen. I don't know, at least in my lifetime, I think this is the best Portugal team. And apart from England, I think Portugal was the best team in this Euro as well. So they deserve to win a trophy. And if the Ronaldo cult is hampering them from winning the trophy, then not only Roberto Martinez, but the entire footballing ecosystem of Portugal need to take a look at it. And one more thing I would like to add is that this entire drama that's now going on for the last 2-3 years around Ronaldo is also hampering his status, as Karthik rightly mentioned, because Ronaldo. See, now we are seeing a Portugal team that is centered completely on Ronaldo, and that is. Uh, a Portugal football team is created not to win but to get the best out of Ronaldo, and this is such a huge insult to Ronaldo because the one thing that held, that the one thing that Ronaldo fans or also anyone who saw Ronaldo playing used to say was that Ronaldo can succeed in any system, in any formation, unlike Messi, who needed some. That was the blame against Messi, right? That he needed an Iniesta, he needed a Xavi behind him. And people would say that Ronaldo can succeed in England, Ronaldo can succeed in Spain, Ronaldo can succeed in Italy. He can go anywhere, he can be the best footballer, right? He did not need system around him. So this is a huge insult, I feel, right now, where Ronaldo's career has come to.
Yeah. Renault?
Yeah, I totally agree with Niladish, and but then the thing is like what it's my opinion and actually the opinions I got from others from here. So there are two things they have always come. One is a group that actually thinks Ronaldo has actually reached his saturation point and he should retire because it's done. It's he's finished for the national team. And the second is some people. There are people who still think that he should go until the World Cup, 2026 World Cup. So because now since he already said that he won't be playing another Euro Cup, But then he still actually believes that he can go until the 2026 World Cup. Ronaldo is fit. There's no doubt in that. But then is he fit for the national team? For the playing 11 is the big thing, because he's been a poster boy for a long time now. I mean, he's done wonders for Portugal. There's no doubt in that. But then at some point of the he has to, because now even Sofia Oliveira she's a football pundit here in Portugal. Even she said that it's a circus. So he's like the main lion who's doing dancing and all the stuff, and everybody is like super focused on him. There used to be a program called Planeta Ronaldo in Abola television a few years back, and then they used to talk for 2 hours every day about him, like about his life, about his family. There was everything, every single thing was about Ronaldo. But then I mean, he was at his prime at once, but then now not even the opposite team, the players now are not afraid of him anymore. So I don't know. It is time for him to retire. No matter, I think for me personally, I believe, because I think he's done enough. And then if he still keeps staying, it's actually going to ruin his reputation or whatever he has done for Portugal. Because the more he stays, I don't think he's going to create wonders anymore. He's just going to keep declining. Everything is going to just decline. So I guess, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Ronald. You also broached the most important question: should Ronaldo retire? So I'll just have my say on that. So I feel like, obviously all the things we have discussed, it's very obvious that he's no longer the force that he used to be. So going forward, if he is able to, change his attitude, which will be very difficult because his ego is a part of who he is. It's a big reason why he was so successful, and that may not allow him to sit on the bench. But going forward, if he is able to become a squad player who maybe comes on in the last 20 minutes when Portugal is looking for a different option like crosses into the box, etc., and he's able to keep his teammates motivated, where people like Jota and Ramos can start and link up the play better, then I think he will still be a valuable player to have. But the big question is whether he'll be able to do that, because his own ego may not allow him to do that. So ideally, if he's able to do that, then he'll continue to be a valuable player, because like Niladri pointed out, his positioning is still world class. I would argue it's still his movement off the ball. What I meant is his attacking movement off the ball is still world class. He gets into massively impressive positions. Then his touch and the first two matches we saw, his touches were really good. The football intelligence and the experiences can be valuable if he can become a force which is not disruptive in the dressing room, and be a team player who can just help along the younger teammates. But unless he is able to do that, I think again I agree it's time for him to retire from the national team. But as long as as far as the bigger retirement question, should Ronaldo retire from football? I strongly disagree, because I would like to see him play. He can just continue playing at the lower leagues. He's already playing in Saudi Arabia. If that contract is over, he can try to move to Japan instead of coming back to Europe. Maybe when he's 50 years old, he can come and play in India. So he can still play at those levels. But then again, the question is, will his ego allow him to do that? He will still want to compete in the, after Saudi Arabia, maybe he'll want to go back to Europe. I don't know whether that will materialize, because it seems very unlikely. So if he is willing to go around the world as an ambassador of the game, fine. But for the national team, I think he either has to take a supporting role, or he has to step down. Niladri, what are your thoughts? You can close off this discussion.
So Karthik, the thing is, people always associate Ronaldo with this word ego. So I personally don't think it's ego, but the thing is, I would like to believe that it's Ronaldo is so high of self-belief. Like this is
Yeah.
what has made him an elite athlete. That he just believes that he can do. It's not just ego. He thinks he can do that. I mean, and he has proven he has all the right reasons in the world to believe that he can still do wonders. I mean, nothing against him in that sense. But as you rightly said, can Ronaldo do that, or even Ronaldo is also mentioning, can Ronaldo still do that at the international level? I don't think he can if he's playing every minute or of every game. And rightly so, if Ronaldo is not ready to accept that he is no longer the player he was in the 2015, 16, or 17 season that we saw, then Ronaldo has to be told clearly that this is time you hang up your boots. Otherwise, please believe. Otherwise, he's senior enough. He's so experienced. Like he's a gold mine of football knowledge. And this Portugal team, full of youngsters, they need that intelligence. They need that knowledge and experience from Ronaldo. He can help them, right? And we saw that Ronaldo can do that. I mean, at the sidelines, what Ronaldo can do when Portugal
Yeah.
won the Euro. So that thing has to be taken care of. And yeah, if he's not agreeing to do that, then I don't know if this, like how Renault is saying that brand values and everything that take more sort of I mean high ground than footballing terms. So it will only cause more damage to Portugal football. Ronaldo has to be managed, because if Ronaldo won, and I think this will also do good to Ronaldo's legacy, right? How he managed
Yeah.
himself when he was not performing as a footballer, how he managed the team from behind, how he helped the team off the field. That will do wonders to his legacy. And I think this Portugal team, again, I'm saying more than Ronaldo, this is about this Portugal team. Like, I don't want this Portugal team, this generation of Portugal team, to be the golden generation of Belgium or the golden generation of England that we saw in the 2000s, right? This Portugal team deserve a trophy. So at any cost, if it's without Ronaldo or with Ronaldo, I mean with Ronaldo maybe not at its fullest, doesn't matter. This Portugal team deserve a trophy, and the Portugal footballing system ecosystem need to understand that, and they have to do anything that will give them the trophy.
Thank you, Niladri and Renault. So there you have it. So while Ronaldo's attitude and work ethic and his football intelligence cannot be questioned, there is an issue with him starting and playing every minute for the Portuguese national team. The likes of Diego Jota and Goncalo Ramos can bring a different dynamic to the team, which we think needs to be explored. So, what is the future for Ronaldo? Can the icon successfully become a mentor, or will he continue to be a disruption for this Portuguese team?